Welcome to Control Talk 2.0. This is your host, Eric Stromquist. And today we have a very special guest, Ron Zimmer. Ron is the president and CEO of CABA.
Well, it's been pronounced different ways, but it always means Continental Automated Buildings Association.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. So for our worldwide Control Trends viewers who might not know what CABA does, fill us in.
First of all, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you and your viewers and listeners. CABA is an industry association, an international industry association, and we're absolutely delighted. This year, in fact, we have just moved into our 25th anniversary year.
That's right.
And we're expecting to do a number of key celebrations, including some of your viewers will be at ASHRAE AHR Expo in Dallas, and we're doing a special meeting of our Intelligent Integrated Building Council and a reception, etc. So hopefully we'll see some of them there. But as an industry association, our focus and the leadership of the industry group that looks at connected homes and intelligent buildings, or really any building that has integrated systems, 25 years ago felt there was a need for a group to bring together research and information to relay to any individual or company or organization that was involved in this world of high performance buildings or digital homes or home automation. At that time was a more common term. And so to that end, CABA was launched with a very few companies, and now exceeds over 300 members and reaches well over 20,000 industry professionals on a regular basis, sharing research and information.
Oh yeah, and you guys have you put a newsletter out as well, which I've read. It's great information in that.
Yeah, it's a complimentary, free to the world. You just have to go to www.caba.org, and anyone can subscribe to that weekly news brief, which we get many, many compliments on. And It's a credit to Ralston O'Neill King, our communications director and editor, for the work that gets a lot of work gets put into that.
Yeah, it's really, really good stuff, and really like the latest edition you guys had. I guess it was Dr. Sue did something on using BAS systems to monitor lifts and elevators, which I thought was a really cool piece.
Yeah. We try to cover all aspects of the industry, and that's one that I think comes back to why CABA was launched, in that there's no one person, no one company that can follow all the changes, all the technology that go into buildings. And in the past, as you're probably aware, many of these systems, and unfortunately still today, many of these systems are standalone systems. They do not link together for various reasons. So lighting is not part of the heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, and yet it should be if they're going to have truly a great energy management system in a building, or building automation system. So as a result, we make a concerted effort to reach out to all of that technology, so that people that are trying to understand, particularly in areas of how they can enhance their products and services, or they're developing their strategic strategies for their future R&D or marketing plans, etc., they can actually rely on our research and information to help them make the right decisions.
So tell me about some of the stuff you're working on now research-wise.
I'm glad that you asked, because a big part of what CABA does is certainly collect research for the industry, and we have the world's largest, we're very proud of this, the world's largest collection of research related to connected homes and intelligent buildings.
Wow.
We're still not listed in the Guinness Book of World Records, but someday. And in addition to that, we actually undertake a unique way of developing research, which we call collaborative research. So the piece that was completed actually just in the last year was this one on looking at smart grids and intelligent buildings. Covered, very timely, and in fact supported by around 27 industry companies, the CABA members that actually sponsored it. One of our more popular ones was the intelligent building and integrated buildings market sizing for North America. And again, well received, and now actually we're looking in the next year or two to update it to do an updated report. The one that we just completed, in fact, and is just going out to the steering committee, is one that addresses an issue that faces our industry, and it's entitled "Intelligent Buildings and the Bid Specification Process." One of the great hurdles that we have in our industry is how builders and developers undertake the bid spec process to determine what technology to put into the buildings. Through the research, which actually had about 17 companies and organizations, and for the first time we actually got some great associations like BACnet International, IFMA, International Facility Management Association, TIA, the Telecommunication Industry Alliance, and some other great companies and CABA members like Honeywell and Johnson Controls and Siemens and Ingersoll Rand, of course, and Verizon, a great cross-section of companies that supported the research. But it looked at what is happening in the bid specification process, and why is it that so often we end up with these standalone systems, or as in our industry we sometimes term the dumb buildings that are being built as brand new buildings. Yeah. And that the owners and developers are not taking advantage of technology that could, number one, make their buildings much more valuable, could reduce in a very substantive way the operational costs, and often we've seen great research from DOE showing that on a 40-year life cycle, a building could actually reduce, or has approximately 50% of its overall costs related to operational costs. So if you can slice off and reduce that, just energy management can be done to the level of 30 to 40%. That's huge dollars for the builder, even if it's a rental property. So we're trying to educate and inform, and this piece of research, which is just coming out, is and was done by Frost and Sullivan, in fact, really covers this area in a way that will help a lot of industry stakeholders understand what they need to do to improve their bid specs to ensure that they get the best possible product.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest trends we've seen. I like to tell people it's the best time in the world to be a building owner. You have so many choices, not just in terms of great products, but in terms of being able to integrate your different systems together to get a completely integrated building. And as you said, that just ups the value of your building so much. And to me, it seems like the biggest hurdle is really educating the owners, because at the end of the day, it seems like, at least in the States, people are doing everything they can to get a competitive advantage, and if they can have a proprietary system and convince an owner and engineer to specify that, it's good for that company. And it's not that they might not do a good job, but it's just like you're underutilizing the technology and what's available today.
Right, and that's where I think that a lot of the builders, and what came out of the research, is that the builders and developers have to look at more of what their long-term objectives are, as opposed to the low first cost, which sometimes still is the key factor. And a big part of it, as you alluded to, is not understanding. And sometimes the owners, in fairness to the many technologies that go into a building, are not experts in this, so they rely on architects, engineering firms, consultants to provide that information, and they assume that these people are informed in terms of what is available to them to give them the lowest possible operational cost, and even to ensure that the product that's going in is the best product. And at one point, not too very long ago, and still to a certain extent today, the proprietary protocols and systems that are were an inherent problem in our industry. But with products like Tritium, for example, their Niagara product that can actually now link disparate systems together from different OEMs, that is no longer an issue, should no longer be an issue for the builders developers to say, well, these systems don't work together. In fact, they can work together, and in fact, that means, in a very positive sense, you're not beholden to one company because you can't find other products to work with it. And that should allow those companies, those developers and builders, to actually put in, again, best of class.
Yes.
best product that will give them the best overall performance over the life cycle. And unfortunately, too often everyone looks at a very short-term payback, which in lighting, as an example, most often lighting can give you that 2 years or less payback. I would say if you don't do your lighting systems, you're really missing the boat. But looking at even a longer-term life cycle aspect will really show long-term gains for a developer and builder, and short-term gains as well. Again, I don't think there's a builder out there that would not, even if you're renting, to have full occupancy. I mean, that's just common knowledge that is the key, or should be a key objective of every builder and developer. And by having these systems in, not only are you going to help ensure that you're going to get full or near full occupancy, but come back to the point, the value that you will add to your overall building and the impact of that value, whether you want to sell it at some point, whether you're going to flip that property, or whether you're actually taking bank loans based on the value of that equity. Those are all going to be positive for the development builders. So we really see this as, again, a bit of education, because the numbers really add up.
We had, let's say 100% means everybody that gets involved with building is educated about their options and open systems and integration. Where would we sort of fall on that scale right now, do you think?
Wow. We didn't know that till we did this study. And now, so just speaking for North America, recognizing that we're an international organization, and while certain builders and developers actually, they get it, and we see, Liberty, I'll name some: Jones Lang LaSalle, Liberty Property Trust, even GSA has been so positive in what they're trying to do with the government buildings in the U.S., for example, or Public Works Government Service Canada. So there's some really positive things that are taking place. But overall, our research shows that a couple things. One, the larger the building, the greater the amount of those buildings that are having integrated systems. It may not be 100%, but would have some integrated systems. But the bad news, I guess, is that of all buildings in North America that are considered large buildings, it's only about 20% that would have some integration.
Wow.
So that would mean that there's still 80% of the buildings that have literally no integration of any type. Now, you can say that's good news, bad news, because quite frankly, for the companies that provide products and services, it's a huge opportunity. There's a market out there, because those buildings will be going through retrofits, will be going through recommissioning and upgrades. So there's an opportunity here for the industry.
I really think there is, and I think it's the products are there. And I think the other thing that's really great is the number of people that are qualified that can come in and provide the service and do these integrations is growing exponentially, which is another really, really good thing for the owners, that we have a lot of qualified people that can actually work on these. How do people get hold of those studies that you have?
Well, the good news is that over half of them, in fact, well over half, we have well over 1,000 different studies, and over half of them are actually absolutely free. Just come to our website, and we call it a public library, and they can access that. And some of them are relatively current as well. So that's the good news. Members, of course, have access to more current studies, and they pay us a small membership fee, which helps keep our secretariat in operation to collect more research and do more research.
Because if I'm not mistaken, you guys are a nonprofit, correct?
We are absolutely nonprofit, and anything that we do make, which we try to stay a little bit above the bottom line, but ultimately, so if people go to, again, www.caba.org, you'll see a wealth of information. Again, as you mentioned earlier, the free news brief, the free magazine, free public library. We have a tools section which people can go to, where we list some of the best tools that departments like Department of Energy, National Institute of Science and Technology, and other groups provide to the industry, and we make that available so that, again, people can find these tools and utilize them as they see fit.
No, I tell you, your website is fantastic. I've been there. I could encourage all of our Control Trends viewers, you definitely need to check this website out. if you're in the integration business at all or thinking about getting in it, or if you're a property owner, this is just a tremendous resource. So for our Control Trends viewers, you'll recognize that CABA is actually one of the media sponsors for the Control Trends Award.
Great opportunities to really showcase some of the new technology and to recognize the major technology breakthroughs that we're seeing now on a constant basis. And I think this is another way to highlight some of the leaders and some of the leading technology in a way that's appropriate, and to showcase their achievements to a broad audience.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. We, as you probably know, we created a Control Trends Academy of the best controls experts from across the planet. They nominated a ton of people for different categories, including the best automation controller and different products. And not only that, the people, who provides the best technical support as a company, and the people. And that got narrowed down. So we're actually in the voting phase now. If you haven't registered to vote, not too late. You can still register. The voting actually ends on January 12th. And then January 29th, we'll have the awards in Dallas, right behind the convention center. If you show up, hopefully you get a chance to meet Ron on the red carpet and our other media sponsors and other sponsors. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. And please, please check CABA out. They are really doing some great work. I think for all of us, the more people get educated, especially owners and engineers, about open systems and what can be done, the better it is for the owner, and the better it is for you, and the better it is for everybody.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the good work you're doing to help evangelize the industry and the things that are happening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time, Ron. Really, really appreciate it, and hope to see you in Dallas.